wants to talk about this exciting topic, standards, education standards. My name is Mark Rankovich, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we do at Certica Solutions in this space. Firstly, standards are everywhere. I'm sure everyone's aware of that, from academic standards, data standards, regulatory reporting standards, etc. Very important in the education industry overall. There's a lot of upside to standards. You can communicate expectations, set benchmarks. Some of them are just regulatory in nature. Obviously, the academic standards are a particularly important one when we come to education. But there's also lots of downside. There's lots of difficulty implementing standards. There's not a lot of how-to guides. Sometimes they're just published on websites. You have to think about what you're going to do with them, apply them to your products, apply them in your school districts, apply them in your state education agency, etc. They're sort of hard to operationalize. At Certica, what we do is we make standards usable. So I'm going to talk about 4 different areas in our business where we've actually applied some of these techniques to take standards that are out there in the education industry and operationalize and make it much more easy to use them. Firstly, academic benchmarks. Some of you have probably heard about this. Some of you are probably our customers, and thank you for that business. Academic benchmarks is a comprehensive database of machine-readable learning standards for all subjects in all states and some international ones as well. But it goes much further than that. We've actually created machine learning-based algorithms and functionality in the system since we acquired that company 3 years ago, so that we can actually enrich the processes that you use as vendors in the space in terms of using learning standards in your product. Very powerful for tagging, search, and discovery of content when it comes to learning standards. We have more than 200 publishers and ed tech companies that are actually using these capabilities to help smooth the way for use of academic standards in their products. And last October, we announced a great alliance with the EdFi Alliance, which is a data standards organization under the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, where the academic benchmarks curated learning standards are the standard reference data in the EdFi ODS. A lot of words there, a lot of standards. We built on top of the academic benchmarks product an offering called Standards Connect, which is a way for our districts and state education agencies in the country to be able to manage their standards. Obviously, all the state education agencies manage and publish standards. Some districts manage and publish their own standards as well. So they can do that right in our Standards Connect offering, which feeds straight into the academic benchmarks ecosystem of 200 vendors that are out there. Shifting gears a little bit, our company over a decade ago was founded on the back of a product called Certify. We're in hundreds of school districts on a national basis, covering probably about 10% of the student population. This product actually helps school districts meet their regulatory reporting obligations, known as state reporting, affectionately known as state reporting by districts. And it does that by interrogating and analysing all the data that they have to report for state reporting purposes and regulatory reporting purposes. Helps them obviously avoid audits, maximise funding they're entitled to based on formula-based funding, etc. So there's another area where we're actually managing standards. And then sort of the fourth of these areas, recently we announced and launched our offering called Data Connect, which with our partnership with the EdFi Alliance, we've taken the EdFi technology. For those of you that are not familiar with EdFi, it's much more than just a data standard to interchange data between applications. The EdFi Alliance spends quite a lot of money every year developing technology, which turns out is very powerful but complex for districts to adopt. Maybe the top 100 districts have the wherewithal to really bring that into their districts themselves. So we've created a hosted offering called Data Connect, which is basically the EdFi operational data store and APIs wrapped in a management interface that allows districts to basically subscribe to that and have interoperability between their applications. And as I mentioned earlier, we've done a partnership with the EdFi Alliance where part of that arrangement is that those districts get to use the academic benchmark standards within their EdFi integration. We've also layered on top of that an offering called Viewpoint Connect. Other applications can interoperate, but we do offer our own analytics and dashboards on top of that data integration platform as well. That's it for my presentation, but finally, before I run out of my 30 seconds, sorry, I want to make a great announcement today. We've just finalised a partnership between Certica and Luminosity, where the academic benchmark standards are going to be available in an integrated fashion in the Luminosity platform. So for our joint customers, we're really excited about that today. And as well as that, we do have a Navigate item bank that's going to be part of that relationship. But the really exciting part is to bring together what are really two de facto industry standards around academic standards management and assessment, and authoring and content creation. So we're excited to announce that today. You're hearing it first right now. Thank you.